Good evening, Internet. The Real Shroom here playing Standard tonight. And tonight we're going to continue this tradition that's been going on for a while on this channel. We're going to try to hate out the most popular strategies in the Standard format. Now, we've done this a number of times, mostly with Azorius decks, going way back to our Tarkir Hate Storm deck. Tonight we're playing Esper. Let's do some Strixhaven. So, Strixhaven is an Esper mid-range deck, and as stated, we're trying to hate out the most popular strategies and powerful strategies in the format, which in my mind are Stormchaser's talent decks, particularly like the Prowess decks. They are Badgermole Cub's decks, including like the Landfall decks, and they are the big control decks. First, on the aggro Prowess decks, we are packing High Noons. We've got a couple of these in the main board. The full playset is filled out in the sideboard. This is just kind of the best card against the Prowess decks. Limiting them to one spell per turn means that they can't grow their Slickshot show-offs and Prowess creatures into huge lethal threats all in one turn. We're coupling High Noon, of course, with Voice of Victory, which makes sort of a lock where your opponents can't cast spells during your turn, meaning they only get to cast one spell every turn cycle, which is, on their turn, meaning they get to cast half as many spells as you do. It is sort of a Prisny element that's been popularized in Standard recently. I actually did this years ago in my Modern High Noon Prison deck, but this is just a very powerful combination of cards. Voice of Victory, of course, is a very hateful creature against all kinds of counterspells and instant speed play anyway. And also, we are just a good High Noon deck because we are kind of a control-y deck. We have a lot of stuff we can play at instant speed, meaning that we're better able to thrive under the environment of High Noon than our opponent. So in addition to High Noon, to hate out the Prowess decks, we have Pest Control, which is an excellent card against Stormchaser's talent decks. It's 2-mana sorcery that destroys all non-land permanents with mana value 1 or less, so gets rid of all those Stormchaser's talents, gets rid of all those auto tokens that have been created off the Stormchaser's talent. It's really just like the best answer to like the broken Stormchaser's talent boomerang basics kind of interaction that those decks like to do. Now, we mentioned also that we want to hate out the Badgermole Cub decks. Well, we're doing that primarily with Clarion Conqueror, this thing that stops the activated abilities of all artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers. That includes mana dorks, that includes earth-bended lands. So this is also incidentally very good against the Landfall deck because it shuts down the mana abilities of those earth-bended lands. It's good against artifacts, it's good against planeswalkers. There's just a lot of stuff that this hates out. There's some overlap in our hate as well. Of course, the Clarion Conqueror also hates out the big control decks, which now like to lean on the tablet to accelerate their mana. With the Conqueror on the battlefield, they can't activate the tablet, so much for that. By the way, on the subject of the Prowess decks, we also just want cheap removal. It's good against Prowess and against Badgermole Cub decks. So we've got 3 of Requiting Hex, 1 of Death in the Family for cheap creature removal that can deal with any threat in the Prowess decks and most of the threats in the Landfall decks as well. Now, another tech tool that we've got, going back to control, we mentioned the Clarion Conquerors, which shut down their artifact tablets. The control decks have pivoted to a lesson-based removal plan, primarily because of the tablet. The tablet has the ability to right away tap for 2 mana, so going with Lessons lets them play a tablet on turn 3, tap it for 2 mana, and still cast a removal spell. That's why we're running Crystal Barricades, 2 in the main board and a 3rd in the sideboard. It's a 0/4 defender that gives us hexproof, so opponents can't cast burn spells or discard spells at our face. It prevents all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control, so this is a very good tool against those Lesson decks, which remove creatures via 1 and 2 mana lesson spells. They can't kill the rest of our creatures before they kill the Crystal Barricade, which is typically going to require 1 to 2 removal spells itself to kill. So before they can deal with the Clarion Conqueror that's shutting down the activation of their tablet, they have to kill the Crystal Barricade. Before they can kill the Voice of Victory that's preventing them from casting instant speed spells or counter spells, they have to kill the Crystal Barricade. So I really like this against red-based removal decks, including nowadays the big control decks. That's why there's 3 in our 75. And then just a sort of stopgap hates, fill in the blanks kind of hate, we got these 3 of Tishana's Tidebinders in our main. They're 3/2 flash creatures that stop 8 activated or triggered ability when they enter the battlefield. So this can stop everything from a grand trigger that lets our opponents cycle cards. It can stop like a Monument of Endurance trigger that's allowing our opponent to kill us in a traditional Lessons deck. It can stop a Simulacrum Synthesizer trigger. If it stops the ability of a creature or artifact or planeswalker, by the way, that particular creature just loses that ability for as long as the Tidebinder is on the battlefield. It's also just a 3-power flash attacker, which is pretty good and a good way for us to close out games. So that covers the targeted hate pieces. And for the rest of our deck, we're just sort of a control-y, mid-rangey deck. We've got a bunch of counter spells like Spell Snare, Spell Pierce. We've got No More Lies. We have a good amount of removal, as we've already touched on, the Requiting Hexes, the Death in the Family. We've got a couple of Strategic Betrayals as well for Graveyard Hate. And then we've got a couple of Get Lost. We're a good Get Lost deck since we're a Clarion Conqueror deck. Our opponents can't crack those map tokens that we give them off Get Lost. We've also got a couple of exercises for additional hate against artifacts and enchantments, against enduring creatures, against big creatures, which are also, you know, have a place in Standard. And then we've got just a couple of consults and a couple of stock ups as card selection to help us find the pieces we need when we need them. Finally, rounding out the main board is a couple of Binding Negotiations as 2 Pilfers that let us just hate out whatever the best card is in our opponent's hand at a particular moment. So that is the plan for our main board. Against Prowess, we're going to Pest Control them. We're going to High Noon them. Against the big mana decks, we're going to Crystal Barricade them. We're going to Clarion Conquer them. We're going to counter their important spells. And against the Badgermole Cubs deck, we're going to kill their creatures. We're going to Clarion Conquer their Badgermole Cubs and mana dorks so that they can't generate mana. Total of 23 lands in our deck is sufficient for our mana value. I could see an argument for 24 since we are kind of a control deck, but for today I'm running only 23. I've got an Abandoned Air Temple, an Agnakella, one of each Restless land for tech, a Fortress, a Verge, and a Reef, and then we've got one of Petrified Hamlet, which can name, I don't know, Soulstone, Sanctuary. It can name Fountain Port. You know, any troublesome land on our opponent's side can be stifled or pithing needled with these Petrified Hamlets. The sideboard contains a bunch more counter spells, annuls against artifacts and enchantments, and Disdainful Stroke against bigger spells, few more counter spells. We've got Duress here, and we've got a Poison the Waters here, so we can supplement the Binding Negotiations in our main board with additional discard based on what's good in the matchup. We've got Crystal Barricade number 3. We've got 3 Doorkeeper Thralls are here against those decks that rely heavily on ETB triggers, like the Momo decks, like the Elemental decks. It's also good against artifacts entering the battlefield, so it stops, like, you know, Simulacrum Synthesizer. Lots of artifact decks in this format rely on ETB triggers. Doorkeeper Thrall shuts that all down. It doesn't really hurt us very much, except we probably board out Artisanous Tidebiters when we board these guys in. We got High Noon 3 and 4, so we go to the full play set against Prowess or against the Momo decks. By the way, High Noon is also very good against them since they want to multi-spell with their Cosmogrand Zeniths. They want to, like, warp a Quantum Riddler and daydream it. They can't do that if there's a High Noon on the battlefield. And then we've got Strategic Betrayal number 3 for graveyards, and also for matchups where sack-based removal is good. We've got Pest Control number 2 will come in against Prowess and other Stormchaser's talent decks. We got one of Ancient Vendetta, which I like to include in slower black decks against Jeskai Revelation. Pretty much that's what this card names. I'm going to try boarding it in against like mono black control decks as well, or like other Unholy Annex decks, just because Unholy Annex is such a pain and I always seem to lose to it. Then we've got one of Ride's End for a little bit more removal in mid-rangey matchups. It's good against creatures like, you know, Unstoppable Slashers, which are actually kind of common here in the gold tier where we're sitting. So that is Strixhaven. We're going to try to just shut down in the hardest possible way the most popular strategies in the format, and let's see how we do in the gold tier of the ladder. If you want to support me and my content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Leaf Litter will be our first opponent. Doing some Strixhaven. Esper anti-meta mid-range will be on the play. And our hand looks pretty hateful. Yeah, we've got tools for good matchups. Let's keep. Alright, opponent is on a Multi 6. Sleight of hand. Okay, so it does look like a Prowess deck. So I think High Noon's going to be great here. Opponent sleight of hand. Alright, well, we've got 2 Voices of Victory, so I think we'll go for one of them. Possible Spell Pierce there. No, they did not have it, thankfully. And if this gets to live, I really like our chances against Mono Islands. Alright, let's play another Voice of Victory. So they could be like a Spelemental style deck, in which case they can cast a crab here. They just go for Consult, sure. That's great, actually. Alright, we'll attack for 6. They are Temple. We have a counterspell up. Opponent scoops. Okay. So, yeah, I think they are some sort of, they've got to be some sort of, like, Eddie Merc Crab deck, so I think High Noon is where we want to be. They've got to be a Stormchaser's talent deck, too, right? They didn't show it. I have to think that they are, though. We'll bring in Pest Control. I think we'll bring in Disdainful Stroke for those big, like, Eddie Merc Crabs. Probably also want Strategic Betrayal to exile their graveyard. We don't need Requiting Hex. I don't think we need Crystal Barricades. Exercise can kill their big stuff. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Let's try this. Alright, this hand is kind of mopey. It doesn't have any of our sideboard tech. It doesn't have High Noon. Doesn't have Voice of Victory or Discard. I think this is actually a mulligan into a Zero-lander. Oh my god. Well, that's not keepable, obviously. Well, I wish we had just stuck with the first hand. We're gonna keep this. I think we're gonna bottom Island, and Stock Up can help us recover from our mulligan. Pest Control is good against Stormchaser's talent. We're not 100% sure they have it though. I think we're gonna bottom the Pest Control. I feel very certain that they have like Eddie Merc Crabs. Alright, we draw a land. Play tap land. Opponent just passes? Okay. I think we also will just pass. They opt. We don't have blue mana up currently. Alright, let's play a Clarion Conqueror. See if we can bait out a counterspell. This isn't, like, good, really particularly good against them or anything, but it is a 3/3. Okay, let's attack with the Conqueror. And we'll play a High Noon. Opponent opts. Winter Night Stories. Okay. Well, I think now we absolutely just strategic betrayal. Although it is tempting to VOV. Actually, I think I like VOV better. Betrayal next turn. This combination of cards is so messed up. It's especially messed up in Modern, like I did years ago when this card was printed, when you have cards like Remand and Reprieve. Okay, their one spell is to bounce off our VOV. Here comes the crab. No? Alright, we'll just replay the VOV. Spectral Interference. Okay, definitely an Eddie Merc crab deck. Well, we're gonna try for this strategic betrayal. It resolves. Okay, good. Now I think we're in good shape. Okay, opponent's had enough. Alright, we destroyed a Eddie Merc Crab Spellslinger deck. GG's. That's some Strixhaven. Not Sweaty Sevens. The Mighty is our next opponent. Doing some Strixhaven. Some Esper mid-range control. Meta Hate. Hand looks good. We'll keep. Hole Carver, 1/1 Death Touch. Okay. I'll take one. Crystal Barricade? Yeah, I think I'll play this Crystal Barricade. Give us hexproof so they can't, like, decavern bat us or just duress us. I'll take one. Alright, do I want to hold up a counterspell, or do I want to just Clarion Conqueror? I think I'll hold up counterspell or Tishana's. We'll flash in Tishana's end of turn, even if it doesn't have a target. Okay, now that they played an island, I think I'm just gonna Requiting Hex the Hole Carver. I don't want to risk getting Kaido'd. Murder on our Crystal Barricade. Well, the fact that they're doing that makes me want to counter it. Yeah, we're gonna kill this whole Carver too. I don't think we need to Blight. We'll just go to 15, kill the whole Carver. Alright, let's play a Clarion Conqueror. Spin out. Okay. Our Conqueror has spun out. Play tap land, hold up our Tidebinders. Opponent has 90. They're playing like a 100 something card library. Well, you shouldn't do that. We're in gold tier, so we're not really facing the meta, but doesn't mean that we won't get interesting matches. These decks tend to just be piles of removal. Burglar Rat. Yeah, we'll just stifle that trigger. So they are indeed some kind of like discard deck. Stab. Okay. Well, I kind of feel like I want to hold this card in hand, this land, because they might have like Bandit's Talent or something. Vampire Nighthawk. Okay. No more lies. We'll pass. Yeah, we'll take 2. Yeah, I think we will just run out our Tidebinder as a 3/2. Exercise doesn't really help us very much. And it takes it. Vengeful Blood Witch. Yep, he's the Nighthawk, which is not even the best Nighthawk in Standard, by the way. I'll go ahead and kill the Blood Witch. We could have gained 2 life there, I guess. Voice of Victory. Alright. Attack with our Tidebinder. Play Vav. Murder. Yeah, I'll counter that. I would like to find an answer for that. So let's hope that they block with the Burglar Rat here. They do not. Row.
Honored to be invited. Prepare.
Just gonna surveil 2. Nighthawk. Alright. So let's attack Row. Okay, they do block the Burglar. So Row now can no longer resurrect their stuff, and we can get their Nighthawk. Just gonna surveil 2. Divert Disaster. Okay, so they are playing counter spells. High Noon. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll play High Noon. We'll activate our Fortress. Attack. Ral, attack you. Attack you, attack you.
Done arguing.
We do have these starting towns, by the way, which you can use to activate the lava mode. Just destroying our Tidebinder. Okay. Attack with our Fortress. Then I guess we'll just Thoughtseize you. Rise of the Dark Realm, annul Orzhov's cruelty. We'll take Ozai's cruelty. And opponent's dead. Clarion Terror, okay. Activate High Noon. Clarion Terror, eh? Okay, well, we certainly want our Crystal Barricades. We want Strategic Betrayal. We want Duress, for sure. Do we want Doorkeeper Thralls? I think I like Tidebinders better since they are using Planeswalkers. They have those, I think we like Poison the Waters. We like Ride's End. I don't think we need the Requiting Hexes so much. We really don't seem to need Exercise, although they do have some big stuff like those Clarion Terrors. Cut all the Requiting Hexes. So we have Exercises for Talarian Terrors. We have Get Lost for, like, the vampires. We don't need Pest Control. I think we can cut one High Noon. Let's try this. I would like it if we had a Crystal Barricade, but I think No More Lies and High Noon are good. Clarion Conqueror, we'll keep. They can, like, Duress us or something, turn one. Just a 1/1 Menace Ravine Raider. Okay. I think I'll shock. Another Ravine Raider. Tiny Bone. Alright. We'll just hold up counter spells, I think. Sanguine Siphoner. Whenever this creature attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Alright, we'll counter that. Exile it. Strategic Betrayal. This Tiny Bones is a little annoying. I could play Clarion Conqueror or Trishana's. I think I'll play Clarion Conqueror. Black. Sure, we'll play a Clarion Conqueror. These things have menace, huh? Okay. Interesting. They're a little more aggro than they let on game 1. Of course, they have a 100 card library, so... that could occur. So these guys can't activate their ability any longer. Hero's downfall. Yep. They don't have mana to cast that. No more lies. Alright, we'll play that on blue. We could really use poison in the waters. We will counter that trigger. So as long as our Tishanas is on the battlefield, Tiny Bones can no longer do that. Alright, exercise. Well, this hasn't worked out well. So I think we play High Noon and pass. No attack. In the hopes that maybe we can use this to lightning lava axe something. Alright, we'll counter that. And I mean, we got a block. We're taking too much damage. So we need like... Okay, we're dead. So, opponent snuck in a win there with some 1/1s and the little vampires. So let's bring back in a couple of requiting hexes, I guess. We'll cut exercises. Yeah, let's try that. Alright, I think this is a keepable hand. Lead on a fortress. Infestation Sage. Alright, let's go for Thoughtseize here, I guess. Although Strategic Betrayal would have been good. Sleep Magic and lands opponent has. Okay. I think we'll just play Vav here. Tiny Bones. Strategic Betrayal. We'll just pass. Barrag Bone Maker. Just gonna attack with Tiny Bones? Sure. I could flash in this Tishana's to block it. I actually think that's worth it. Yeah, we're just gonna block it. We'll trade. Okay, Clarion Conqueror. That's a good one. I think we just want to kill their stuff, though. Let's Strategic Betrayal. The Infestation Sage will not come back if they sack it, because it gets exiled. We'll pass. And give it +2/+2. Uh-huh. No block. Alright. Here, I think we'll play a Clarion Conqueror. And then we'll just attack for 3. Take 1. Okay, opponent passes. Oh, we'll attack. We could play another Conqueror. We could play a Crystal Barricade. Play a Crystal Barricade. Take 1. Alright, opponent passes. Let's attack. Play another Clarion Conqueror, so we have a lethal attack, theoretically. Zarek can't do anything.
My words strike like lightning.
And opponent scoops. Alright, getting there against Death Touch control. You shouldn't put 100 cards in your library if you want to win games. Slingblade is our next opponent. Up in Platinum now. Doing some Strixhaven, Jeskai mid-range. And this hand is keepable. Got Crystal Barricade. Hopefully Pest Control will be good and Exercise. I like this hand against an Is It Verge. Nothing? Alright, we'll just pass as well. Stock up. So they could just be control. Let's play a Crystal Barricade. And a tap land. Molten Core Maestro. 2/2 menace. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it. If 5 or more mana spent, add an amount equal to its power. Alright. I think we'll just Strategic Betrayal. Prismari Charm, Surveil 2, and draw a card. Okay. I could cycle Pest Control. I feel like they've got to have Stormchaser's talent, right? I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Alright, we'll just pass. Another Molten Core Maestro. Alright, let's kill it. High Noon. Sure, let's play High Noon. Opponent shocks. Stallion. Okay. We actually can't pay the ward for it. We can block it though. It's a 3/3. Alright, I'm gonna cycle this Pest Control. Voice of Victory. That's really good. If we can resolve it. We're gonna pass. Mistrized Village, so this can't be countered. Ashleen's command. Create a token that's a copy of a target elemental. Draw 2 cards. So we'll kill that in response. Pay the ward. They still get a token, but they don't get an additional token. Alright, we'll go for a Voice of Victory. It's going to be very hard for them to deal with because we have a Crystal Barricade. Another uncounterable spell. Traumatic Critique. X equals 3. That's not going to work. It does create a token. Doesn't kill our Voice of Victory. We're just gonna take this. consults. Well, we can exercise one of these tokens. Could use our petrified hamlet. Then put more Mysterized Village. Improvisation Capstone. Dude, our opponent's not supposed to be getting off these giant spells. Well, we'll block the 3/3. Let's go for a little consult. Tishana's? Yeah, I guess so. Another Vav. Okay, I think we'll attack with Vav. We can also hold up Restless Reef activation to block a token. But this thing... What happened? They don't get to cast it? It's their one spell. I mean, it does count as their one spell per turn, right? Burst Lightning kicked. Damage gets prevented. I think they just got too many horses, though. Yeah, we can eat one and block another and take 7. And if they just have another big spell... I think we have to pass here. If they have another big spell, we're dead. Which they do. I mean, they've got the capstone, so... Alright, let's just go to game 2. So, against big spells with horses, Crystal Barricade clearly good. Duress clearly good. Pest Control can kill copies of their horse. Poison the Waters. Ride's End. High Noon absolutely is good against them. Clarion Conqueror isn't the best. It's okay. The Requiting Hexes only kill the token copies. They don't kill the actual stallions. So I guess I'll cut probably a couple of those. I think maybe Strategic Betrayal we want as well. Would I rather have Pest Control or Requiting Hex, I guess is a question. I think actually I'd rather have Pest Control. So we'll board out the Requiting Hexes. Do they have good spell snare targets? Doesn't seem like they really have that much. Maybe we cut the exercises since they don't kill, like, unpumped horses. Yeah, let's try this. This hand looks pretty good. Poison the Waters, Voice of Victory, Crystal Barricade. We really needed our Hamlet that last match. Alright, we'll play a tap land turn 1. Alright. And then we'll poison the Waters. Make you discard a creature. The Stallions. Oh, I forgot they have those guys too. I boarded out all of my requiting hexes. They do have a Tablet of Discovery. So I guess we'll play Clarion Conqueror. Stop his ability. Search for an instant or sorcery, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's a 5-mana sorcery. Wild idea. There's the Molten Core Maestro. Alright, let's attack. Play Voice of Victory. Tap land. Kind of forgot about these guys, so I probably should have left in some number of requiting hexes. We don't have an answer for this Stallion either. There's the Stallion. Thing has Menace. Okay. No more lies. Well, let's Crystal Barricade. We'll attack. Do we hold up No More Lies? Or do we High Noon? I think we'll High Noon. The extra 5 damage is going to be critical, I think. They can't kill our stuff with burn spells. Okay, they're going to bounce Clarion Conqueror. We can't block this 3/3 because it has Menace. We draw No More Lies. Oh, we're attacking with Bob, that's for sure. And yeah, we're playing Clarion Conqueror, so they can't crack their treasure. Alright, we will block. We have to block here. We're just gonna consult. Okay. So, if we draw an untapped land, we win. Untapped land? Oh, it's a tap land. Oh my goodness. Okay, we would have won had we drawn an untapped land there. Now I think we lose. Let's do a little consult. Ride's End. Yeah, maybe that'll be enough. We can't pay Ward, but we can Ride's End that thing. One, two, three, four, five. We need to inflict 5 damage here, I think. Actually, we can just attack with Clarion Conqueror. Burst Lightning. Yeah, that does it. We don't have our Barricade anymore. Yep, that does it. Alright, we were this close to getting there game 2. If that was an untapped land, we had the lethal attack. We could have attacked. We've gotten through enough damage to kill them with High Noon, but untapped land was enough to undo us there. GG's. Well, we missideboarded. I really should not have cut all the requiting hexes. Eldred is our next opponent. Doing some Strix hating. Esper mid-range. And this looks like a Strix Haiti type of hand, so we'll keep it. Alright, we will lead on. I don't know. Temple? We do have an Agna Kella, too. Mendicant Core. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, copy it at max speed. Do we want to deploy High Noon here? I don't think we need to do that yet. Simulacrum Synthesizer. Alright, let's kill this thing. Alright, let's exercise the Simulacrum Synthesizer. Cryogen Relic, yep. Clarion Conqueror, calling all Clarion Conquerors. Agna Kella, do we want to Pest, High Noon? I think I just want to consult. Another Cryogen Relic? Sure. Let's consult. Find a Clarion Conqueror, please. Petrified Hamlet. Adagia. I guess we'll take the Hamlet plus consult. Tidebinder. If I name Adagia, does that stop that? I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. We'll pass. I'm gonna hold up a bunch of stuff. Repurposing Bay. I would really love to just find a Clarion Conqueror, so I think I'm going to consult. Clarion Conqueror? No Clarion Conquerors anywhere near the top of our library. Okay. I guess I'll just take double Voice of Victory. We can Tide Bind the Repurposing Bay. Assimilation Aegis. Okay, we'll Tide Bind that, I think. Nah, you know, that's fine. We need a Clarion Conqueror. We're gonna cycle Pest Control, because it doesn't look like it's gonna be too useful here. Stock up. Can Stock up find us Clarion Conqueror, maybe? No, cannot. Okay, Tidebinder plus another Voice of Victory, I guess. Well, we have to hold up Tidebinders. Okay, we will Tishana's the Repurposing Bay. So its abilities can't be activated anymore. Exercise. Sure, let's exercise the Assimilation Aegis. Back our Vav. Attack for 3. Repurposing Bay can't be activated. We'll just counter that, I think. And I think we'll Tide Bind it again. Attack for a bunch. Play another Vav. And another Vav. Play that on. Alright. Couldn't see enough. So that artifact annuls duress. What else is good? Doorkeeper Thrall. This is where we want. I would love Doorkeeper Thrall and Tishana's. They kind of. So the Thrall stops the Assimilation Aegis from doing anything. I think the Thralls are actually slightly better in conjunction with the Clarion Conquerors. I don't know. Maybe we just want to run them both. I don't think we need Requiting Hex or Death in the Family or Pest Control. I mean, we don't have enough cards to bring in, so I guess we're just gonna play both the Tidebinders and the Doorkeeper Thralls. Because a lot of these cards don't do much. Like, Strategic Betrayal, I don't think does much. Let's try this. Alright, this hand looks pretty good. We'll keep. Got counter spells. See if we can find Clarion Conquerors and Doorkeeper Thralls this game. Cryogen Relic? Yeah, we'll just counter that. Alright, play tap land, go. Get Lost really doesn't do anything. Mephitic Draft. When it enters or is put into your graveyard, you draw a card and you lose a life. Okay, sure. Annul, that's great. Tap land, go. United Battlefront. Counter that for sure. Okay. Opponent really wants to resolve their artifacts. Another United Battlefront. Yeah, that works. Hover ship. So they can get the synthesizer now. So, like, I could use some help, deck. You haven't drawn any of our sideboard cards. Nothing. Well, if we don't draw anything useful, we're gonna have a hard time. We might actually Ancient Vendetta here. Gonna attack for 2. I could just eat this hover ship if I wanted to. Sure, why not? Perilous Snare. Is gonna get rid of nothing. This is gonna make another construct. So I guess it would have been worth annulling just to stop that from happening. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna beat the resolved and activated synthesizer. I probably should have countered that, because that, you know. Well, let's see how this stock up does. Clarion Conquerors is too late now. Alright. I think we can just go to game 3. Then once they get off their thing, like, it's really hard to beat. We need to Clarion Conquer much earlier. Alright, so we don't have a lot of more sideboard against what they're doing. I guess Pest Control is okay. It kills all of the construct tokens. Bringing Disdainful Stroke too. It does counter United Battlefronts. I don't know, maybe Requiting Hex just because it can kill construct tokens? We're, again, oh, Ancient Vendetta we said we want to bring in. Betrayal. We don't really need, like, all this removal, I guess. So we've got 2 pest tokens to deal with constructs. The thing is, if they get those going, we're just dead anyway, probably. Get lost. I don't see any reason to give them that. Give them map tokens. The crystal barricade also doesn't really do anything. Cut the crystal barricades. Maybe we'll just bring in a 3rd high noon just because it can do something. Yeah, try it like this. And again, we have like counter spells, but we don't have any sideboard tech. I don't know. I just can't really justify mulliganing this hand, though. We're gonna keep. Okay, we'll lead on a tap land. Spell snare. Okay, I like more counter spells. Play another tap land. Doorkeeper Thrall. That's a good one. Play this on black tapped, I guess. Repurposing Bay. I think we will counter that. Clarion Conqueror. Alright. Let's shock this. Pass. Braided net. That's fine. I think. Yeah, that's okay. It enters with the net counters on it, so the Doorkeeper Throw doesn't stop that from happening. Another land is great. Let's go to combat. We're gonna tap down our dude, sure. We will shock and bring in our Clarion Conqueror, finally making an appearance. So they can't activate their artifacts, and their artifacts do nothing when they enter the battlefield. Which pretty much shuts down their deck. Unidentified hover ship? Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Opponent scoops. Alright, the hate is real. Zappa will be our final opponent. Doing some Strix hating. Some Esper mid-range. Be on the play. Hand looks really good, we'll keep. I think I'll lead on a tap land. Alright. Against planes, I think we will Thoughtseize you. Okay, so this is the life gain deck. Clearly we want to take Enduring Innocence. Pest control could be good at some point. Actually, it's not good against what they have. It'd be good if they have like Hinterland Sanctifiers or Case of the Uneaten Feast. Leonin Vanguard. It's good against that too. Let's go ahead and kill the Essence Channeler. Healer's Hawk? Oh, perfect. We got another Essence Channeler and an Angel of Vitality. I think we just Pest Control. Angel of Vitality. Okay. Pass. Enduring Innocence. We'll counter that. Take 2. Abandoned Air Temple. Okay. Gonna pass. Case of the Uneaten Feast. Yeah, that's fine. So I could just block the Essence Channeler and trade. Or I could consult. I think trading with the Essence Channeler is the safest thing to do. Stock up. Let's stock up. Well, this is kind of lackluster. I guess we'll take High Noon plus Voice of Victory. I think we'll play Voice of Victory. The case doesn't really do anything. Crystal Barricade. I think we just hold up Consult. Hinterland Sanctifier. So they're gonna be able to solve this case, right? They're gonna gain 3 creatures in your graveyard have you may cast this from your graveyard until the end of the turn. I don't think I can stop that. Oh, didn't they solve their case? No? Alright, let's take this Consult. Exercise plus Tishana's. Alright, let's exercise one of these cases. Attack. They take it. Another Sanctifier. Okay. Well, we can shut down one of those triggers. Shut down this Sanctifier's trigger because it never comes back. Attack for 2. More Crystal Barricades. Well, I think we're just attacking with our team. And I think we're just countering up our team. Just trying to race. We got nothing else, really. Another Angel of Vitality is going to gain some life. So this is solved now. Death in the family. Alright, let's attack. See how they block. They're just gonna block tokens. Okay. Sure. We'll play Crystal Barricade. Pass. You may cast this card from your graveyard. Oh, their whole team gets that? Well. Enduring Innocence? Yeah. Essence Channeler? I'll counter that. Leonin. You get the triggers. Clarion Conqueror. That's pretty good. I don't know if it's enough to live, though. Well, we absolutely need to do that. I think we play Clarion Conqueror. We'll attack with Tishana's. I don't know, maybe we need to go all defense here since we're at 4 life. Yeah, I think we did, because we know that one of their flyers is going to get through. No attack, okay. Let's play another Crystal Barricade. And we'll play this on... red? Play High Noon. And... I think we need to hold here. Another Sanctifier. Yep. Gain a lot of life. Hidden Courtyard, sack it to discover 4. Opponent passes. What do we do here? I think we'll attack with Tishana's. They just take it. Alright, pass. Enduring Innocence. Gain some life. and now they can attack with our angels. We can block one and trade, but that kills us. Alright. So we want Strategic Betrayal, Poison the Waters, Pest Control, Ride's End. This is a Doorkeeper Thrall matchup for sure. Tishana's is also good. They aren't good together though. Annul also for those innocences. So let's cut Spell Pierce. I think Spell Snare. Crystal Barricades. High Noons. And yeah, we're cutting the Tidebinders. We're going with the Doorkeeper Thralls. Let's try this. Oh man, this hand is like, it's very slow. We're on the play. It could be good, I guess. I'm gonna keep. Leyline of Hope? Sure. Alright, pass. Healer's Hawk. Yeah, that's okay. Healer's Hawk is fine. Doorkeeper Thrall, that's a great draw. So we're gonna shock. Pass. Angel of Vitality. We want to counter that for sure. We'll take one. Voice of Victory. Alright, just gonna hold up Doorkeeper plus Annul. Hinterland Sanctifier. I think we'll let them gain this life, because we want to surprise block the Healer's Hawk. A Johnny's Pride Mate? Okay, now we actually have to play the Doorkeeper Thrall. Clarion Conqueror. Alright, I'm gonna play Clarion Conqueror. Tap land. We'll pass. Hinterland Sanctifier. Yep. Essence Channeler. Okay. Attack with the Conqueror. I guess they can block with... They can get one trigger. One life gain trigger. By blocking with this Hawk. They don't choose to do that. Okay. Play Voice of Victory. Where's our Pest Control? Case of the Uneaten Feast. I don't think we need to counter that. Another Voice of Victory. I'll just attack with Clarion Conqueror. They take it? Alright. Yeah, I'll play another Voice of Victory. Enduring Innocence. It's annoying. Oh, I should have countered it. I can exercise it. I can exercise it. Yeah, let's exercise the Enduring Innocence. Attack with our Conqueror. Pass. Angel of Vitality, sure. Well, it'd be nice to draw some removal spells at some point, or card draw into removal spells. Just play this tap land. And go. Pride Mate? Yep. We just draw land. Okay, deck, come on. Another case, it doesn't matter. More lands that don't matter. Come on, deck. We can't really attack into their board. Deck. Give me a break, deck. Pest control would be good. Like, stock up into a pest control. Consult into a pest control. I would even accept a spot removal spell for the Angel of Vitality. Linden. And that's a problem. I didn't even know this card was in Standard, so that's gonna kill us for sure. Yeah, okay, we're dead. Well, we just whiffed way too many turns in a row there. So, too bad. Alright, our final record with our standard Strixhaven Esper mid-range Meta Hate deck was a 3-2, and I think the deck did pretty well. We certainly got some good hate in, shut down a couple of our opponents pretty thoroughly. I think the deck is lacking a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap with like 3 mana value creatures. Which I think since everyone's running 4 Requiting Hex, people are starting to go a little bit bigger with their creatures. So I think we probably want a couple of... want to modify our suite of removal a little bit to fill in that gap, to make sure that we can hit those, like, those stallions. I also think that we do need a sweeper or 2 in our 75. This deck, of course, very closely resembles different Clarion Control decks that I've played, which ran Scavenger Regent. I could definitely see that as a good inclusion. Would have been really helpful in that last match against the Life Gain deck. I think we already have Pest Control, which is... it's good against that deck. It's good against Stormchaser's talent deck, but I think that we could use 1 to 2 more sweepers to catch slightly bigger stuff. So maybe Scavenger Regent, maybe Day of Black Sun to get the occasional X equals 2 going. We just need a little bit of supplemental removal, and we need to tweak our removal slightly. And I would say maybe we want 1 to 2 more card draw spells as well. So, yeah, maybe we don't need 3 Crystal Barricades in the 75, although it's very, very good against the Lesson decks. Maybe just 2 is sufficient. You could save a card slot there. I don't know. I would try to find room for 1 more card draw spell. Probably just modify, not increase the number, but modify the existing spot removal spells to focus more on larger stuff, like cut a Requiting Hex in favor of a Shoot the Sheriff or something. So that you have two Requiting Hex, 2 Shoot the Sheriff, 2 Get Lost, 2 Exercise for the really big stuff, something like that, and then like a couple of sweepers in the 75. Probably a Day of Black Sun. Overall, though, I think the deck was pretty sweet. I really enjoy playing this kind of deck. You know, I think it could be really good against the meta. It did shut down that artifact deck beautifully, which can happen with the combination of Clarion Conqueror and Doorkeeper Thrall. Also, our first opponent we shut down quite hard with our Suite of Hate. It is good against those Eddie Merc Crab style Prowess decks, multi-spell slinging decks, but a little bit of a tweak and it would be even better poised to take on the meta. As it is, though, it was really fun. I enjoy playing this style deck, and I think I consider it a 3-2 successful. Anyway, that's going to do for tonight. I hope you enjoyed watching me play some Strixhaven Esper. If you did and you like off-meta MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I stream MTG on my Twitch channel every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. There's a link to the Twitch in the description if you want to come check out the action in real time. So I hope you all have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.